Nothing.
All right.
I meant over it.
Nothing.
We're rolling and we're autofocus. Or not autofocus, we're focus locked.
Yeah.
Right? Okay? That's all good? Alright. We're talking about whether RuneScape has good game feel or not, and stuff around that. Me and Simon are arguing. Hey, Si.
Hi.
Get up there.
Yeah.
I'm sitting.
Yeah, Si's gonna sit.
Thank you.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I asked, do you know about a paper that references the core aesthetics of play?
I said no, because I don't know about that.
I'm gonna see if I can remember.
Because my lines are white.
Threads.
My threads are white.
Your threads aren't white. They're like...
They're whiter than the whitest kids you know.
I could check that, but this is not about that.
I was just making a reference to the classic sketch comedy show, The Whitest Kids You Know.
Yeah. Good people.
Yeah. Make your point. What are the traits?
All right.
What's the gamer code, Tarbuck?
There's like 11, so hopefully I remember them all.
Okay.
All right. Community. This one is why back in the day, a lot of women who didn't play video games all suddenly flocked to Ultima Online and World of Warcraft and all of those, because culture will torture you unless you value community if you happen to be a woman. And so that leads to be one of the only spaces in the core aesthetics that they're like allowed to explore meaningfully. And so when games came out that emphasized the community aspect, you know, like this is also why a lot of girl-oriented games that get made have some kind of stress on interaction, even if it's virtual. Like Otome games, for instance, they still deliver on the interrelationship aspect of things, even when it's not with other people. Let's see. Narrative. People want to see good stories. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. That's why we like movies. Kind of games too.
Spectacle. Cool sense pleasure experiences. Like, dude, did you see that?
Do you see that flip he just did?
Yeah.
You see how he flipped like that and then spun the sword around his back and then said, "Time to take out the trash."
Exactly.
Totally crazy.
Challenge. This is not just being hard for its own sake, but this generally describes the obstacle course nature of a lot of games.
Mm-hmm. It's not fun if you click a button and win every challenge.
Yeah, and the kind of challenge that they're talking about in the paper is like at the heart of platformers or skating games, which they used to make.
Yeah. They made one recently. That what's it called? That Jet Set Radio clone?
Gotcha. And that I'm emphasizing it this way because challenge in the core aesthetics is different than mastery. There's because like the hobby of playing Mario 64 and the hobby of speed running Mario 64 are almost unrelated.
Different, very different.
Mm-hmm.
Now my memory is starting to strain as I try to remember what the rest of
You
these
might
things
want to
are.
get all the scuttlebugs together, one big scuttlebug jamboree. I'm sorry, it's not gonna happen.
That is totally different from competition, playing against other players in some way. Trying to deliver on this is why games used to have scores.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the things that people
Right,
like
like
about
when we were
fighting
playing
games.
Magic Sword,
Yeah,
we were getting score, and like we didn't
That doesn't mean anything to us. 'Cause
Right.
We don't care
But I'm
about
sure
price
you
points.
realize it, and I realize it too, of like, oh, does Tarbuck think I'm stealing these coins from him?
Mhm.
I don't want to steal these coins from Tarbuck. Like, I worried about
Yeah.
stealing coins from you, even if we didn't care about score.
This is one that is repulsive to Vamp. My partner, not a vampire, has such a deep feeling of competition makes a game anti-fun,
That's really unfortunate.
right? But that's why we try to play cooperative games such as Lovers in a Dangerous Spacetime, which is an amazing game. There were 4 of us in this room a little bit ago. We could have played if we had it on something. I have it on something. It's that Steam Deck right there.
I think I have it on Steam also.
Yeah, but I have it on a thing that plugs into that TV more easily than your computer.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, mastery in the sense of like honing your skill as opposed to overcoming challenges.
Right.
Distinct.
The core aesthetic of a lot of piano players is mastery.
Yeah.
They just want to do a thing accurately, and that's very satisfying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of piano, expression is one. Customizing your sim in Sims or any kind of character customization is about this. Fashion Souls' endgame is about expression.
I mean, I think, like, are you a faith build? Are you a dex build? Like how do you express your engagement with the mechanics of the game?
And there's what that says about you in terms of like the taste of the mechanics that you like to engage with, but there's also like maybe you want to be a faith build for personal reasons
Yeah.
that aren't about liking how the tactile sensation of the game feels.
Yeah, I did that when I played Elden Ring. I did it from like a role-playing perspective of, there seems to be a lot of stuff about like religion in this game.
Fascinating that you would go towards that.
I'm gonna be a religion guy. I'm gonna engage with the religion stuff.
Okay, please tell me more about that right now.
Well, like, yada yada. The fact that the Elden Ring is this like holy, like binding, like there isn't even like a word for it. It's just like this. It is both a concept and a literal thing. The nature of which is mercurial and unknown. And like that mystery alone got me thinking about like, okay, what is the nature of the higher powers in this world? And then I played a character class that allowed me to investigate that. I played a cleric.
What'd you get out of it?
I got a lot of cool, interesting item descriptions that I wouldn't have read otherwise. I noticed patterns between the different types of faith-based magic and how they crossed over into the like faith and intelligence magic and the faith and arcane magic. I picked up details about the setting that I would not have if I played a guy with a sword. Where maybe I would have read those item descriptions because obviously that's half the fun. But I would not have like hooked into them as fervently and like actually processed them as well.
Okay. I'm good. That is. I don't remember if this is on the canonical list, but fuck them. I'm gonna call
You
this
can make your own list.
lore. Because you know that
That's narrative.
Yeah, that's narrative.
It's kind of narrative, but there is a wild difference between caring about the characters and their actions or the chain of events. And man, isn't it cool that we know this thing about this species of grass and are able to track the flow of settlements across the landscape by what kinds of crops that they plant in different places.
Lore is just narrative in the past.
All right, in Breath of the Wild, not in Tears of the Kingdom, but in Breath of the Wild,
Yeah.
the huge parts of the environment are not really narrative. They are lore. Things like going to what must have been Hyrule Castle Town, and then a place that you and I have been many times in different centuries.
Yeah.
And there's this giant crater, and you have to think the bomb shop was here, and they went out swinging. That's different. When you find like the temple from Skyloft, that's different than a narrative.
I disagree. I think it's just events being portrayed to you through, like, that are just being shown, not told. Just because they don't happen to your character directly doesn't mean that they are not narrative elements.
Well, the reason that I'm separating them is because they are different aesthetics.
They are different aesthetics.
This is the list of aesthetics of play, and
Sure.
a game that delivers on lore, but has a really terrible surface narrative,
That exists.
has one and not the other.
Yeah.
It's like you could, if you wanted to, argue that several of these things count as challenge, but that's not what we're describing.
Right. I get what you mean.
Yeah. I personally love Metroid Prime because of reading codex entries, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you scan anything and it tells you something about, like, the morphology file, the X-ray diagram of different functions of this creature, I love that.
Yeah.
Lore.
I'll allow it. Exploration.
Alright. Exploration.
The thrill of finding out what's behind the corner, over the hill.
Yeah. What's over there? You go there. You find out what's there.
Yeah.
I like picking through stuff.
The human desire to explore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Metroid Prime is another one of these. You like picking through, like traversing through cool locations.
Yeah.
For my taste, some combination of exploration and spectacle is one of the core appeals to me of Gauntlet Dark Legacy. The flavorful environments are my favorite thing about those games.
I don't know what that game looks like, so I have no comment.
It looks like late PlayStation 1, early PS2.
Okay. Does it have a camera angle like Legends?
It's an expansion to Legends.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Is it a little more cinematic, or is it just like the same?
It looks like that. Yeah.
Okay.
It is just Gauntlet Legends.
I mean, it's cool to explore those levels.
Yeah. And if we play it together over some kind of net thing through emulators, you'll see that several of these are just recycled from Legends and chopped up differently.
Okay, interesting.
Like the town, you remember the town section in the green place?
Yes, yeah, the ruined zombie town.
And you remember how that like you climb a spire and it goes into an airship and you spend a bunch of time in the airship?
Yeah.
The airship part and the town part are now two different worlds.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
I remember there are those guys who they're like really like broad, tall enemies. They have like upside down triangle shaped torsos, and they had like the big like the saws that you get one guy on one end and then the other guy on the other.
Yeah.
And they like held them up and they like bashed you with them. That game's cool. Anyway.
The game's really cool.
Yeah.
Exploration is really cool. Here's one that was added to this list by James Portnow, the original writer for Extra Credits.
What about James Port later?
Back when
Sam Port her bridge in to my heart.
Abnegation.
The crowd disapproves.
The crowd disapproves, apparently. Abnegation. The mental unplug of, like, going into soft focus and doing a manual task or something and zoning out, chilling out, doing a thing.
Yeah, the guided disassociation of playing a video game.
The Pokemon Go that you're playing right now.
Yeah, the guided dissociation.
Yeah. There's probably more than that. I'm trying to think of more. Can you think of other reasons why you like a video game?
Music.
Music is part of spectacle, I think.
Yes, I agree. The game is fun. If it's not fun, why bother?
Well, this was actually an answer to that kind of thinking.
Yeah.
The question started with really like esoteric definitions of fun.
Yeah.
They were trying to like circle the concept of engagement, but like there are reasons to engage in art other than fun.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
Breaking Bad fun?
Sometimes.
I think it is, actually.
Sometimes. That show's really funny.
I stand that Breaking Bad is a comedy.
It show's hilarious.
There's
All right,
one...
maybe that's a bad pick on my part.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones isn't fun.
I was going to say The Wire.
The Wire's not fun.
There are times in which Game of Thrones is fun, but overall, it's...
Yeah,
it's,
the core appeal is not fun.
No, it's the drama, it's the intrigue,
Yeah.
it's the nipples. For some.
Uh-huh.
For some George R.R. men.
Right. So, this was trying to address that kind of thing about video games, of like, well, is this game that we're making fun? Or is it one of these other things?
Yeah.
Or is it some of these other things? Rather, the general advice that gets given regarding the core aesthetics of play is pick at most 3 for you to care about when you're designing a game.
Yeah.
And then if other things crop up in the course of just making something, then that's fine. But focus on, at maximum, 3.
Yeah.
Really, it should be like 2.
Mm-hmm. I think the 2 things
Mm-hmm.
that I care about the most on this list.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Can I pick 3?
Go ahead, pick 3.
You can pick all of them.
Yeah, you could.
Challenge, expression, and lore are the 3 that you just wrote down kinesthetics.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide if I think that kinesthetics is different from the way that challenge is described here, because the singular key touchstone for challenge is obstacle course.
Yeah, I think what's it called? Surfing in CS:GO.
Yeah, see, surfing.
I think that's somewhere between challenge and mastery.
Yeah.
I think good kinesthetics can also be a spectacle thing.
Yeah, we're trying to... What I'm encountering here is that the further out you get on this list,
Yeah.
the more you can build new things out of previous things.
Right.
So I think if that's one, sure, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I come to a game for spectacle, challenge, and lore.
I think my least... The thing I care about the least is community in this. Like, connecting to other people through the game, not that important to me.
I'm trying to think. I really liked doing Dark Souls 1 PvP.
But alright, to get at that thing, when you go to, like, Friday Night Magic,
Yeah.
are you trying to meet friends?
No. I'm trying to play the game.
Yeah. But Friday Night Magic exists because it emphasizes the community aspect of
Yeah.
this thing.
And that's like it's a fun part of it, but it's
Yeah.
not the part I care about, personally.
Right. I feel like there ought to be something in here that's not mastery, because mastery is about like dexterity.
Yeah.
About optimization.
Challenge.
That's mastery.
But mastery, as written in the paper, was about physical precision.
We can broaden...
Yeah, we
Okay.
can, but I think that's different in that, like, again, like with the challenge versus mastery versus competition thing, I think that's different enough that it's its own thing.
Well, optimization is a puzzle.
Yeah.
It's literally a puzzle in a lot of puzzle games to do something, but do it again more optimally.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you might get 2 stars instead of 3 stars for doing something suboptimally. I think putting optimization on there is
I feel like...
that's just a type of challenge.
I think it's a type of mastery.
Well, then I would just choose different words for these things.
Yeah, what you're describing a hand mastery.
Yeah, precision of execution.
I think a brain mastery is on an equal level.
Good things to be thinking about.
Yeah.
And I can tell you which one of these. I don't think optimization should be on there, but whatever. You guys are just making shit up.
Yeah,
making shit up.
we're spitballing.
I want to get it out of here.
Yeah.
The
I think trying to like as many of these as possible is a good thing.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I do like all of these things.
That's yeah.
I like all these things a lot. Like I can like I think about the narrative of Sekiro right now.
Yeah.
Oh. Mwah.
For me, it's narrative, challenge, competition, exploration. If you drop one of those, you drop competition.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think what games. It's fun to build a Minecraft base with your friends. That's community. I'm trying to think about how I care. I've always been a very solitary gamer because I never had friends who played the games that I did.
Mm-hmm.
If played games at all.
And most of the design space is solitary.
Right, like I mostly play a lot of single player games, and obviously I talk to people about the games I like.
That's part of it.
Yeah, that is part of the community, for sure. Like when me and Tarbuck geek out about Zelda shit, that's definitely the community aspect.
Yeah.
But it's not the most important thing. I
You
do get a lot out of it.
You don't play Zelda so that you can talk about it with other people.
Correct.
You don't watch anime so that you can talk about it with other people.
Correct. I'm not a sellout hack YouTuber.
I don't know, I feel like that's a large part of why I watch anime.
Yeah.
The focus is manual, so you're super blurry when you did that.
Well, that's the joke.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you can. I mean, I said that as a joke
Yeah.
because we're on camera right now.
Well, we're on
audio. We're on mic.
You're on record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Talking about our other people is very important. It's not why I go to it, it's just a very satisfying byproduct of engaging with it.
Well, part of community is parasocial relationships with people who make the art.
That's true.
Yeah. I thought about it more. Optimization is made out of other things.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. Talking about Gen Urobuchi's Ruby, Ruby fan fiction.
Yeah.
That is community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Stories are cool. I like narrative elements in fiction.
There's this guy, Unique Namosaurus. He made a video about NFTs and then everybody stopped watching him.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was 5 hours.
Yeah.
he applied this theory to other media, like anime, mainly. And then from that, came up with at least 2 more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember them. But if you want further reading,
investigate.
you read the original paper and then look up that guy. Unique name Osaurus.
Roma, what do you think? This started because we were talking about RuneScape. Roma, what do you think on this list RuneScape does well?
Narrative, challenge, mastery, expression, exploration.
Where does the challenge come up?
Challenge comes up in figuring out what the fuck to do. I got handed a cipher in the game, and it went, figure it out.
Fair enough.
And I was like, well, I know what a Caesar cipher is. Is that what they want?
I wonder if like mystery is on here. I feel like I feel like mystery is just exploration.
It's exploration and lore and narrative, kind of like.
Depending on what the mystery is specifically.
Yeah, it's one or more of those 3 things, depending on what the mystery is. I think the reveal of a mystery could also be a spectacle.
Depends on what the mystery itself is, but
Yeah.
yeah.
That's why I said a mystery could be that. Yeah. This is an interesting line of thought.
It's a cool exercise.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just remembered. I probably have a bunch of these written on my phone.
Huh. Taking notes, kids.
Take notes.
Point number 1.
Point number 1, take notes.
Let's see. Okay. Instead of exploration, they had it written as discovery. Discovery is a cool thing.
Yeah.
Sensation. Fantasy was its own thing, separate from expression. That's a cool one. Instead of community, they had it as fellowship, but I think that's close enough. Whatever.
Well, I'm thinking about.
Because they're nerds.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the
nerds.
difference between abnegation and fantasy.
I'm changing this one. Discovery is so much better.
Yeah. It implies a little more
RuneScape
openness.
is full of discovery. I don't know how to train half my skills.
And you know from watching videos that mention this fact that every skill has like 30 ways to train it that pay out at different rates.
Yeah.
Fantasy. Yeah, I forgot fantasy.
Well,
It's all about the,
That's man, wouldn't it be cool to be that guy or something like that?
it's all about the male fantasy.
this is what gamers want. You know, this just appeals to the male fantasy.
And fantasy against narrative, you can see shows that are terrible in their narrative, but they deliver on fantasy because you're trying to get your audience to think, man, that guy is so cool. Wouldn't it be cool to be that guy doing those things?
What's the name of that fucking anime that you watched?
What's the name of that fucking anime?
Don't.
You really sounded like that.
The Eminence in Shadow.
Yeah, yeah,
Which I would like
yeah.
to refer to in the future exclusively as Darker than you.
Darker than Buck.
Darker than Buck.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is the idea of core aesthetics of play. I think all media has these or their own on top of these.
Mm-hmm. The core aesthetics of engagement.
Yeah, like House of Leaves has discovery.
Yeah.
House of Leaves also has lore.
It has challenge.
And challenge and spectacle.
And narrative.
And narrative.
Yeah, it is
it's
a
expected that a book has narrative.
Not necessarily. Many of the books I've read this year do not have narrative.
I wonder about that. I guess a dictionary doesn't have narrative. That's a book. But when I think of, here's a book, I think of a fiction book.
Yeah, when you talk about like a book, as in like, a dictionary is like an encyclopedia, an index. It is not a book, like, book is more general, but also I feel like book defines like some sort of narrative story.
If you click on your music player and you hit shuffle and it's song, podcast, that feels weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. All right. Add your own aesthetics of play in the content in the
competition
comments
below.
Yeah.
And the doobly-doo.
What are some? What do you go to anime for?
Narrative, spectacle, discovery.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I
feel like you also like community.
There's a somewhere between challenge and mastery element that I like. I like seeing people do cool things, where the doing of it and the embodiedness of doing it, the kinesthetic aspect, is really cool.
I feel like that's spectacle.
Well, you're engaging in a spectacle way because it is passive media and not active media, but there's cool colors, pretty shapes, and then there's like a guy does a thing that's really cool.
I see like a show can challenge you by like tasking you to figure out what's going on.
Mm.
You can show mastery in movies by understanding what directorial techniques are being used because of their history and what they're attempting to convey.
Mm.
That's where I feel like challenge and mastery come up in non-game stuff. Like they are like that.
Yeah, but you also know that is a different way from how I have talked about what challenge is supposed to be on here.
Yeah.
Again, obstacle course.
A movie can have an obstacle course in it for the viewer.
I think that's a difference in kind. I think you're leaning on metaphors as being more literal than they are. We haven't even gotten to all metaphors are literally true. We stopped at all metaphors are literal.
Yeah. Yeah. Draw on either side, on the left side of this list, draw a big circle. On the right side of this list, draw a big circle. In one of these big circles, draw two little circles touching in the very center. Littler.
Doesn't matter.
And and then the other one draw a solid circle.
That's as solid as you're getting.
Viewers at home, please engage with the category of discovery to interpret these shapes.
Yeah.
By listening to command line.
By listening to command line.
I feel like a lot of American TV is about abnegation.
Yes.
The point of it is you are decompressing by no thoughts head emptying yourself. It's about switching off.
I mean, yeah, it's riding in an easy low impact state.
I know that serves a very practical purpose.
Yeah.
Because I get something like that from like flicking through Pinterest.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's bad. I think you shouldn't do that most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's been saying this for years?
Well, I use Pinterest for discovery.
Mm-hmm.
Abnegation happens. Oh, yeah. Here's like, they're not all good. They don't all have to be good. Habituation. Beware the Skinner box.
Well.
Pogo.
Pogo?
Pokemon Go. You're playing it right now.
No, I'm not.
You were. At the start of this video.
Is that not some combination of abnegation and fantasy?
No.
They're just playing it for the sake of.
Gotta get my dailies. It's addiction.
For the sake of the dopamine hit. Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Some of them are bad. They're present. Old Animal Crossing was like this.
Mm-hmm. Current Animal Crossing is like
If you want to be nice, you want the bottom one, comfort.
You should make it drugs.
I feel like comfort is more up here in the abnegation zone. Like Iyashike is all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen the first episode of Kino's Journey.
I haven't.
Really? That's a classic anime that if I watch...
Was it the wrong kind of trans?
Never watched it. It's probably fine.
That'd be a classic anime that I've seen and you haven't if I would watch it.
That's true. Maybe you'll watch an anime one day.
Oh my God.
One of these days.
When was the last time you watched an anime?
Like last week.
That was Gurren Lagann, and that was not on your own.
What's the last time that you watched a new anime? Didn't rewatch an anime?
I have a much harsher question. But you might
One
have
at
an
a
answer.
time. One at a time.
Well, my answer to this question is science fell in love, but so we decided to measure it season 2, which I completed in June, somewhere in there. Season 2 was terrible. Don't watch it.
Like September?
What show was it?
No, August.
What was the show?
Bakano?
Good pick.
How much of that did you watch?
3 episodes.
Oh, okay.
I previously watched 3 episodes. Then I watched 3 more.
I thought you were saying that you started and then finished it, and the finish date was in August.
No.
Okay.
I watched anime.
Okay.
That was the criteria of the question.
Yeah. I'm not busting your chops about it.
I know,
Rum
but I feel
will.
like she would.
Yes. I watched Jujutsu Kaisen in like 2 days. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
I also have a different list.
I had good.
anime I watched.
There was decent spectacle. There was a narrative at all. I was watching community reasons to watch it because it's big and important or whatever. And
You did not get a lot of community engagement out of the fact that I was heckling the shit out of it.
Yes. You were kind of being a dick about it.
Oh, Jesus, the last anime I watched this far back?
I was going to add the clarification of, what's the last piece of art you consumed without prompt from somebody else?
Oh, I didn't write it down. I should have written it down. It was after Standalone Complex.
I want everyone to look out.
New?
Yes.
Okay. Today.
What did you do?
Listen to an album.
What album was it?
It was a Steely Dan album that I hadn't listened to.
Alright.
It was not as good as the other ones that I had listened to.
That makes sense.
It was chill.
I skimmed through those and I was like, it's kind of like 3 good ones.
Yeah.
There we go. It's added to my list.
I think I want everyone to consume art that I don't have to prompt them for all the time. That way they can tell me art that I don't know about sometimes.
There's a new No Thank You 12-hour podcast.
I didn't finish the previous
Let's
one.
fucking go!
I haven't finished the other one yet.
That one's good.
Hey,
I listened to all that.
hey, you should read that book that Rama gave you.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
What the other book?
There's lots of things I should do. No.
That's not fair. That fills a different purpose. Like, playing Pokemon Go does not really compete with reading There Is No Anti-Memetics Bureau Division.
Disagree?
I also disagree.
Yeah, no, I think when you have one of those, it inflates. And it fills empty space.
Yeah.
And then you finish doing something else, and then it fills empty space. You finish doing something else, and it fills empty space.
Yeah.
Finish something else, and it fills empty space until it's the thing that you do.
It's like a boa constrictor. Every time you breathe out, it just tightens, so you can't breathe in by that much.
Mm-hmm.
When I get bored of listening to No Thank You tomorrow, I'm gonna start listening to The Republic again.
Okay.
Good. That's a good one.
Yeah. That's reading a book.
I can't believe that Tarbuck's the only one who got the Plato's cave. Yeah, you have a minute. You have a big brag 43 minutes into this video.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's. I don't think I've got more on this right now, so I'm calling it.